Hi folks, I'm Corey Jamaeff and welcome to Unbalanced Ecosystem, a series on what I feel is the state of our wildlife, our wild spaces, and how humans have unbalanced our ecosystem. Now a little bit about me. I grew up in the Rocky Mountains of British Columbia, and that's a place where the mountains shape you, whether you intend them to or not. The mountains, forests, rivers, and long winters weren't just scenery, they were teachers. From an early age, being outdoors wasn't something I scheduled, it was simply how life was lived. Hunting and fishing were part of that upbringing, not as trophies or pastimes, but as ways of understanding responsibility and connection. They taught me patience. Long days spent watching, waiting, learning the land and the animals that lived on it. They taught me discipline and respect because success was never guaranteed and every opportunity carried consequence. When an animal was taken or a fish was landed, it came with gratitude, hard work, and an understanding of where food truly comes from. Growing up in BC also instilled a deep respect for wildlife and wild places. Spending so much time immersed in a functioning ecosystem made it impossible not to care about conservation and balance. I saw firsthand how healthy landscapes support healthy animals, and how thoughtful stewardship really does matter. That connection made me protective of the land and not possessive of it, aware that I am part of something much larger and even scarier, something possibly temporary. Most importantly, being raised that way grounded me. The outdoors became where I reset, where I think clearly, and where I feel most like myself. The values I carry today, patience, accountability, respect, resilience, were forged on cold mornings, long hikes, quiet riverbanks, and hard-earned meals. The mountains didn't just give me memories, they shaped my character. Hunting and fishing and time spent outdoors didn't simply influence who I am, they made me who I am. In British Columbia, you can stand in a valley where rivers still run cold and clear, where salmon fight their way home, where bears leave tracks in the mud, and where the same mountains that shaped indigenous cultures for thousands of years still shape the rhythm of life today. Wildlife isn't something you visit in a zoo, it's something you share space with. Moose, elk, wolves, deer, bears, eagles all move through the landscape that remains largely intact, alive, and functioning. What makes this place truly special is access. So much of this province is public land, meaning you don't need wealth, status, or permission to experience it. You only need curiosity and a willingness to step outside. A short drive you can take from city streets to the silence broken only by wind in the trees or water moving over a stone. That kind of access changes people. It slows you down, sharpens your awareness, and reminds you that you are a part of something much bigger. Time in nature here teaches things no screen ever could. Patience from waiting on a ridgeline at dawn, humility from standing beneath ancient forests, gratitude from watching life unfold without needing to control it. You begin to notice the small things, the way the light moves through the trees, the sound of wings overhead, or the feeling of cold air filling your lungs, and those moments stay with you. Even for someone who's never spent time outdoors, British Columbia invites you in gently. You don't have to climb a peak or disappear into the backcountry to feel it. A walk along a river or a creek, a ferry ride through coastal waters, or a trail at the edge of town is enough to spark something. Once you feel it, that sense of calm, wonder, and belonging, it's hard not to want more. Living here is a privilege. It's a reminder that wild places still exist and that they are accessible and that they have the power to reconnect us to the land, to each other, and most importantly, to ourselves. I have a profound connection to the outdoors. Being in nature isn't a hobby or an escape for me. It's where I feel grounded, present, and whole. The land, the seasons, the weather, and the wildlife are not background scenery. They are part of my identity and the way I understand the world. I can hunt and harvest an animal for sustenance and at the same time love that animal deeply. Those two truths are not opposing. They are connected. Taking an animal's life for food carries weight, responsibility, and humility. It demands respect, skill, and restraint. It means acknowledging the sacrifice made and ensuring it is never wasted or taken lightly. Loving an animal does not mean refusing to participate in the natural cycle of life. Predation is part of a healthy ecosystem. What separates ethical hunting from harm is purpose. I do not take life for convenience, ego, or excess. I take it to feed myself and others, and I carry that responsibility seriously. My love for wildlife is precisely why I care about conservation, habitat protection, and balanced ecosystems. It has a deep, ingrained value to me. I want animals to thrive, landscapes to remain wild, and future generations to experience the same connection that I have. Hunting for me reinforces that bond. It makes me more aware of where food comes from and more grateful and accountable. Being outdoors teaches me patience, humility, and respect. Nature does not bend to me. I move within it. I observe more than I take. When I do take, I do so with gratitude and an understanding that life sustains life. Both things can be true. I love wildlife, and I can harvest an animal for sustenance. That balance, reverence paired with responsibility, is not a flaw in my values. It is the foundation of them. In the following 5 chapters, I will discuss how I feel humans have unbalanced our ecosystem, where I think progress has been made, where I think we have fallen short, and why I feel that we all need to take greater responsibility moving forward. I will explore the idea that conservation is a shared obligation, one that extends beyond governments and organizations to individuals and communities as a whole. This includes a candid look at how hunters can do better, hold themselves to higher standards, and continue evolving alongside the landscape and wildlife they depend on. I will address why hunting remains a necessary and effective wildlife management tool, and why it is not separate from conservation but integral to it. When guided by ethics, science, and respect for the land, hunting plays a critical role in maintaining ecological balance and supporting long-term conservation efforts. Hunters and non-hunters ultimately want the same thing: healthy wildlife, intact ecosystems, and a future where wild spaces continue to exist. While our perspectives and experiences may differ, our goals are deeply aligned. To achieve meaningful conservation, we need to work together. Hunters must be willing to listen and to understand the concerns and values of non-hunters, just as non-hunters need to be better to understand the role hunters play in wildlife management and conservation. You do not have to agree with hunting or ever feel comfortable harvesting an animal to recognize its place in responsible, science-based conservation. Finally, my goal is not to persuade everyone to hunt, nor diminish the differing viewpoints. It is to bridge the gap between hunters and non-hunters by fostering understanding, respect, and honest conversation. Only by working together can we protect wildlife, preserve landscapes, and ensure these wild spaces endure for future generations.